We are Southern Illinois.
Southern trails by 1. Down the 10, top the key with 8, left elbow with 7, Jarrett Hensley with 6, in the lane, dish off the Sykes, near right, block, laid it in, 4 seconds left, Southern leads by 1, 86-85.
Welcome to the Building the Salukis podcast, brought to you by the SIU Alumni Association, keeping Salukis everywhere connected to SIU for life. Now, here is the voice of the Salukis, Luke Martin.
Welcome, everybody, back to our Building the Salukis podcast series as we get ready for summer, which, again, we're now in the month of May. We are less than a month away from June, and this guy will be right back at it just like he was a year ago. Davion Sykes coming back to be a part of Saluki basketball. He joins us now. Of course, these podcasts are brought to you by the SIU Alumni Association. Davion, appreciate the time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you. What's been this process has been like once the season came to an end in St. Louis to then everybody and kind of just day and age. You got to take a look at where you're at, best fit for you or not. How was the process for you and kind of going through that decision-making process of where to enter the portal, not to enter the portal, and, of course, making the decision to stay?
Well, I mean, it's been crazy because, I mean, we lost 8 people. So it kind of, just reminds me about my freshman year. After the season, we had 8 people exactly kind of hit the portal. And, I mean, one of my biggest factors here just kind of staying was, I mean, we're losing a lot of people, so I feel like it leaves a lot of room for opportunity for myself to kind of showcase things that I didn't get to showcase, this past year. And, I mean, with the guys we got coming back, I'm really, excited. I think we got a good, strong core group. I feel like we all mesh well together. And I mean, just talking to those guys, it just makes you feel more and more confident, of being here.
Everyone's learning kind of the day and age that we're in. And I hope our fans truly understand just all the noise that can happen once a season comes to an end. For all of you guys, it's not just one in particular. Regardless of whether it was noise to come back, noise to leave, whatever it was, Davion, what did you try to lock in on of just – hey, this is what's most important for me, and this is what I need to focus on and not get caught up in so much of the emotional stuff that can happen once seasons comes to an end?
I mean, yeah, definitely when the season ended, of course, there's that, thought that goes, in the back of your head about transferring. I mean, never once was that my idea to transfer, especially even committing here. I wanted this to kind of be, a 2-year spot, and, I'm glad, I'm sticking through it. My head didn't really even turn in the first place to think about transferring. I mean, I wanted to stay here from the beginning, and I feel like that just kind of made it, an easier decision, especially, with the guys leaving. Just talking to Coach Nagy and, all the coaches, and it'd be my last year, just staying just kind of, it just seemed great for me.
One of the things you brought up in one of your answers was, look, there is, a lot of opportunity, but the other thing is you're like, man, there's more that I want to show that I wasn't able to show this past year. What are some of those things, Davion, that you look back on and go, man, I wish this could have been better for me from an individual standpoint?
I mean, I really want to showcase, who I am as a player. I want to show that, I am a 3-level scorer. I want to show that, I do everything on the floor between rebounds, diving on the floor, assists, just almost anything, getting charges. I feel like, my game is so well-rounded, and there's so much that, I do on the floor as a player, and, I just really want to showcase that, especially at a high level.
Look, there's going to be many more teammates that you're going to get to know, and that process will start very quickly. But outside of that, which you can't control, how you feel today versus how you felt a year ago at this time, which I think even a year ago at this time, maybe you haven't announced that you were coming here yet. That just shows you how fast this can be moving. Mm-hmm. Now that you've been here, you know what to expect. There's still, not everybody's back, but there's still a good chunk of the team that you've already played with. Mm-hmm. What does that play in terms of just difference in, I don't know if it's confidence, but just how you feel going into the summer this time around versus what it was like for you last year getting ready to come here in the month of June?
I think it's just a certain mindset that I have to, kind of put myself in. And, just talking to those other guys, it just allows me for myself, and I know, talking to them, kind of puts us all in a mindset of, we're the core group, the guys that are coming in, we have to teach them, our way of basketball, Saluki basketball, especially the ways that we learned, throughout this past year. Um, so, just with those guys and me coming back, that mindset is just, we're trying to win. And we have to show them our way and how Coach Nagy wants us to win. And I mean, anybody going outside of that, we don't have a problem. But I mean, we gotta do it this way, and the way Coach Nagy wants to.
You mentioned understanding Coach Nagy and the culture that he's trying to build here. Talk to Drew about this as well. What are areas that you're really going to push yourself in, Davion, of when this group comes in and trying to say, hey, this is the expectation level here? Where do you see yourself in that of, where you want to call it a leadership role, where you want to call it of just being vocal when you need to be vocal? Like, where do you see yourself playing a part in that?
I mean, I definitely see myself, being very vocal, helping the team out in every aspect. I want to be a voice for the team. If something goes wrong, I want to be able, to be that, connection between the team and Coach Nagy. I want to be that voice, on the court during practice when something goes wrong, push Coach Nagy to the side a little bit, and then, me as want to be a leader, step in and, kind of handle whatever's going on, really just kind of be a leader in all aspects, on and off the court, help guys, make sure we're in the gym, make sure practice is going smoothly, teaching guys off the court if needed. So I think just being a voice overall and being a leader, on and off the court, I think that's where I see myself.
When I phrase this next question, it's almost going to come across to some people, and I can understand how it would, of that this wasn't a focus or a talking point last year. It's obvious. Everybody a year ago wanted to win. That was the goal. And it didn't happen. It wasn't the year that everybody wanted. But there was so much newness to it all. Even Coach Nagy and the staff, new coaches together working for the first time. Obviously, this team getting together for the first time. Now that everyone's kind of been through it for a year, how much of the conversation has been since the season ended in March, Davion, of the one thing that's most important to all of us right now is we just want to win? I mean, how much has that been the constant talk within the program over the last month?
I mean, it's definitely been a big talk, even, with the recruits coming in. We're telling them we want to win. Talking to my, the core that's coming back, we're talking to them that we want to win. All of us are saying we want to win. Talking to the coaches, having conversation with them, they're saying we want to win too. And, I mean, the only way to win is to believe it first. And, I feel like, as a staff and players, we're believing in it. Especially with the guys coming in. I think if we start believing in it first, we're going to. I mean, yeah, the season didn't go the way we intended it to. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we get a new season. We get to start from fresh. And I think, if we just continue to work, and keep believing, the fact that we all want to win, I think it'll be a great season.
There's more I know you wanted to show last year, as you've alluded to in your answers already in our interview. I don't want to describe it. The end of your season was fantastic either. I know you have higher expectations than what you show, but of course you played well in the final regular season game at Indiana State. Now, it wasn't a good team day at all, but then you get the game winner against Indiana State in the conference tournament. Did you feel that there was good momentum that you were starting to gain towards the end of the year, Davion, that you feel you can latch onto and build upon here in the offseason and ultimately into the summer?
Yeah, definitely. I felt a lot of trust from the coaches, especially Coach Nagy, throughout the end of the season. Just with, certain situations, game play and, throwing me in there. Coach Nagy, in the first tournament game, he threw me in there at the 5. He was like, Davion, I need you to go in at the 5, and it was right there under the last 4 minutes in the first half. And so, just those little things, towards the end of the year, I feel like he really started to trust me. And I think I could definitely carry that, throughout this next year. And, me and him talk, and I know the expectations that he has of me, and, I'm ready to deliver.
This is the Building the Salukis podcast, brought to you by the SIU Alumni Association. The SIU Alumni Association wants you to remember, once a Saluki, always a Saluki. Alumni worldwide are staying connected and getting involved at SIUalumni.com. Look, you want to showcase the better player that you are than what this was this past year, and don't want to have you repeat that. But when it comes to saying, hey, we want winning to take a priority, that's easy to say, got to be action items to do that. what's something that you believe can be an action item, something that you can do with physicality in your actions, in your daily process of what you bring to the program that can make that flip, that can help show others what the expectation can be here?
I think just putting in the work, after hours, of practice and, the, scheduled workouts, just by putting in those hours, and trying to get the team together to maybe go hoop or something, show them that, this year is serious, especially it being my last season. I'm coming in as one of the seniors now. And it's kind of like, I guess, quote unquote, like my program, if you want to say, just by being a senior and, just kind of being a guy who's been here for 4 years now in college basketball. Just showing, everybody that, off the court, there's work, even though, we're doing stuff on the court, but, after hours is always important.
How's it feel to be the old man now?
Man, crazy. It is very, very crazy because not too long ago, I was just talking with my cousins. They're like 15, and I told them I'm 20, and they're like, whoa. And I was like, whoa, chill. I'm still young. So just the fact that I guess, I'm getting older, it's a little surreal, but, it comes with it, so.
You have always been a very even-keel guy, and you are that way in games. Whether it's a game-winning moment like against Indiana State, like your emotions are the same like you are right now. You do a really good job of just controlling your emotions throughout. How important is that of a piece for you in terms of your development going, having that ability to you just kind of know how to ride? Like you don't get on that emotional roller coaster throughout your, at least you don't appear to ride that emotional roller coaster on your exterior.
I don't know. I feel like I've been this way, for a long time, growing up playing basketball. And I think that just probably has to do, with my dad coaching me, most of my life. You tend to, just put kind of like a little stone face, and, you just, internally get emotional and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, plays a big part into, me and just having that, look mellow type tone. Because I've had games where, I've done really, really well, and I still have that same face. So I think that's just me overall. I really don't get too high or too low, but I think that also helps me from getting too low itself, and it showing it, that maybe if I'm not having a good game, then I'm just out there like pouting or something. I'm not much of a talker anyway. I just like to keep playing my game. If someone talks to me, or if they start to get on my nerves, I might chirp a little bit, but most of all, I'm just gonna give you a bucket and just keep going about my day.
I can vouch for that. Sitting courtside a lot of games, there weren't very many times where I would hear Davion Sykes' mouth open a little bit too much. He let his game do the talking. There's no doubt about that. Let's talk about the returners. What about the group that has said, hey, we're coming back. We want to run this back, come back together as a group. What do you like about those guys who are coming back, just as a whole?
We got 6 guys coming back in total. I feel like a lot of us, there was 3 of us, 4 of us specifically, that didn't really get, too much playing time, which would be, Jorge, Rollins, Jaheim, who redshirted this past year, and myself. There's an extra chip on our shoulder from us that definitely want to show, show the coaches, that, we made a right choice in staying, that don't let them, regret, letting us stay and, staying here. And, we really want to show them. And just the mindset, of Mayo and Drew, the fact that, they got good minutes and stuff, but they're willing to, they want more, to show more than what they did last year. So, everybody's hungry to show more than, what they did last year. And, you could just see it even in the weight room. We're all competing. We're all competing on who could put on the most weight in every certain, certain lift that we got going on, who can do the most push-ups, bench press, squat. Everybody's starting to throw on weight, and, we're all talking to each other, we're talking smack, trying to, get everybody riled up. Even when we go hoop with each other and, just a little 3-on-3, we're talking. Just having that competitive side, between us 6 and, all of us wanting to, show of more, what we got next year. it just keeps us hungry, and that's what I'm loving about, the 6 that are coming back.
As we record this, the majority of the roster is in place. There are still some spots that need to be added. But just generically speaking, of the recruits that you've been able to talk to, some of the transfers that have already said they're coming, could potentially be coming, what just has you like, man, we're looking at the right pieces? Like when you've been around these guys, got to meet them, what gives you the confidence level that, yeah, we're targeting the right people to bring in that can add to this culture and be a really good team?
Excuse me. I mean, just talking with a couple of guys, it seems like they all got the right mindset about coming here. I mean, and just also at the end of the day, trusting the coaches on who they want to bring in, just the pieces that they think that'll help us win next year. And we got a coaching staff, majority has been to the NCAA tournament. They know what a team will look like to get there. Trusting them, the fact that, they know what they're doing and who they're putting and bringing in, and trusting that, the guys they're bringing in and the guys that they got staying, are a NCAA tournament type caliber team. So, I mean, the majority of it is, just trusting the coaches. But, I mean, talking with those guys, it's been really cool just to hear their mindset about them coming in.
Yeah, I've always been jealous of Davion Sykes in terms of his athletic ability and everything he has, which yours truly does not. But also Saluki Nation, this guy here, before he comes back in June, gets to go to Hawaii. I mean, like, I love Saluki baseball. Duffy Bass Field for the Valley Tournament will be great. And I'll just be picturing in my mind, Davion's on a beach in Hawaii right now. Yep. What a scene that must be. But that's got to be some fun here, at least now, before we see you again in June. You get a little bit of time to decompress, get home, go on a quick little vacation run that you can have and get kind of refueled for. As you know, it starts in June. Everyone may think it really starts come November, but it's going to start in June.
Definitely starts in June. Excited to get some time off, see the family. That's most important to me anyway. Just go see my family. So,
Davion, appreciate the time, man. Looking forward to seeing you back here in June, and we'll get this thing rolling.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Once again, that was Davion Sykes, and this was Building the Salukis, presented by SIU Alumni Association.